If you combine both the conservation efforts that have been very successful since the mid-1990s and the drinking water project, the Water Authority has reduced or saved about 1 million acre-feet of water in the aquifer. And that's, when you think about that, that's a fairly astounding number. That's about 10 years of supply at their current rate. So in 20 years, they've saved 10 years worth of supply. I mean, that's, when you think about that, that's a big accomplishment.
Albuquerque. For 300 years, a desert city at the crossroads of the Great Southwest. Its lifeblood? Water. For decades drawn from the regional underground aquifer. Experts thought it was being continually replenished via a direct connection to the Rio Grande. But in the mid-1990s, all that changed. New data showed an aquifer that had been drawn down by as much as 120 feet. The city was suddenly facing a water crisis.
So we used to think that we were sitting on Lake Superior and that all of this big bathtub of water that's sitting underneath Albuquerque was all good, high-quality water, and that we could just pump forever and just pay back the river. But we could no longer rely on the aquifer as our sole source of supply. We needed to change.
Driving that change, a water resources management strategy based on 4 primary approaches. First, conservation.
That was our first response, was conservation. Anytime that you're facing a water resources problem, you look to conservation first. At that time, we were about 250 gallons per person per day. Some have said that we were the biggest water wasters in the West.
So the Water Authority earmarked $1 million per year in rebates for water-efficient fixtures and appliances and replacement of turf with desert-friendly xeriscaping.
The conservation program has been amazing, but the main thrust of that has been incentives and education.
The result? By 2015, daily per capita use had declined to 127 gallons, and the city is using less water overall, in spite of population growth. Reuse.
We built 2 different systems. One uses a combination of surface water and industrial effluent. We combine those together and we serve a large percentage of the turf in the north part of Albuquerque. In the south part of Albuquerque, we're recycling effluent from our wastewater treatment plant. And so now a very large percentage of our consumptive use, probably more than 10% of our consumptive use, is all reuse water.
Aquifer storage and recovery.
This is the Bear Canyon Aquifer Storage and Recovery Project. It's the first project of its type to be permitted and operated in the state of New Mexico. What we're doing is taking non-potable surface water out of the Rio Grande, piping it up here and releasing it into the arroyo. That mimics the natural process that happens when storm water flows into the arroyo and infiltrates into the aquifer. The benefit of that underground storage is that it's not subject to evaporation. If we didn't have this project in place, we'd be storing this water in a reservoir and we would be losing a significant portion of it to evaporation.
The San Juan Chama Drinking Water Project. Albuquerque holds rights to surface water purchased from the federal government in the early 1960s. Could this be added to the drinking water supply? Easier said than done.
We started the environmental impact statement to evaluate the effects of taking our San Juan Chama water out of the river. We submitted to the state engineer's office a permit. We actually got the permit in 2004. And we started construction of the drinking water project, which was to divert and fully consume our imported Colorado River water as a direct source. So we started construction of the project. It was $500 million of construction, 100% financed by rate increases. So our ratepayers saw the need to do this and invested in this project in the future. So we built the project and started operation in 2008. And lo and behold, we started to see changes in the aquifer system immediately. And the aquifer has been rising in Albuquerque for 6 years straight. It's as high as 15 to 20 feet in some areas, which is an amazing thing considering that we've been in drought years for the last 6 consecutive years.
There are other communities that are doing aquifer storage and recovery. There are other communities that are implementing surface water projects and things like that. And there are other communities that are doing conservation and doing a pretty good job of it. I think what makes the Water Authority unique in this respect is that they've put all these things together. They've been proactive, doing things starting in the mid-90s that other communities are just now starting to do today.
So here we are in New Mexico in drought, and we're increasing the water supply in the Middle Valley. I don't know that there's any place else in the country where you could say we've faced 6 consecutive years of drought and we're increasing the water supply. It's an amazing story, really.